I'm sorry.
Tramples heat from a pack like a lightning storm. Ripping baseball cards where legends are born. He once cracked a box, the crowd lost their voice. Babe Ruth appeared like they had no choice. Trent and Drake making a podcast, talking about the hobby and it's built to last. From Panini to Tops, the stories get stranger. Welcome to the sky, it's the Hobby Hangar.
Welcome to the sky.
We did it. Another week.
Another week.
Dude, I'm so excited.
It's really shiny, whatever it is.
Yeah, not one, but two super fractors in tonight's case break. It was freaking awesome, dude.
So they do send the juice ones to breakers, confirmed?
Correct. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
I also got the CT scanner that I bought from the Dollar Tree. And I used that and I knew that those were coming. Yes.
Beautiful.
No, that is a joke for those of you listening.
I went to my local hospital and rented the CT machine.
I actually just stole it. I just walked in and just left with it.
The going rate is a couple $100 an hour.
Yeah.
Another week, another episode. Shout out to everybody on the Facebook group and on Instagram who replied to the Hobby Hotline question that we asked y'all for questions. Today's episode will be focused around answering some of those questions. And then I know we also want to kind of talk generally about card shows, card shops, dealing in person at shows, and kind of maybe whisk away some of the conceptions about that to make it a little bit more of an appetizing experience for you, something that people can feel more confident in instigating and not, feel afraid to do stuff. So
Right.
How does that sound to you, Trent?
Dude, it sounds great. No, I mean, people have been asking me all the time. Like I even had a good buddy of mine message me today. He's like, hey, I feel like not many people talk about shows as much. Cause I mean, we have obviously you and I were an online presence, but I mean, at the end of the day, the number of deals and the number of interactions you can have at shows really are longer lasting than sometimes online stuff is.
Let's get into some of these questions that we had from some of the homies. So top list, we'll start with this one. Top list of people you'd want to have on the podcast.
So I will say this, a good buddy of mine that I've met through online stuff, and I met at the National for the first time this year, Eric Mandelkern. So in case if you've never heard of Kern's Cards, he actually just got yet another shout out from Tops today as the first person. I don't want to misspeak, so let me check something real quick so I get the actual name of this right. But for context, Kern is the superfractor guy, the one of one guy in the baseball card world. For the record, this is his podcast. I know you can't see it. The Sports Card CEO. They had Mike Trout on this week. He's a big dog. But no, it's called the Three Kings. So this is a card you get if you have the first Bowman Superfractor, the Topps Chrome Rookie Superfractor Auto, and the MLB debut patch. You get this card, another one of one.
It's and like you have to, in order to redeem it, you have to have the three puzzle pieces.
Yes, and you have to show you have ownership.
It's like Exodia.
He's that guy. I'm pretty sure he's pretty darn close with Churio too. For the record, I pulled the Jackson Churio Super. It went to him. Whoa. So he is the superfractor guy. He is a big prospect guy, and I definitely think we could have him on the show here relatively soon.
That's who you'd have on the podcast?
Yeah.
I would probably go with I want the head of I don't know who it is, but if you're out there, I want the head of creative design of Panini. And I just want to ask him some questions, right? I just want to know hey, do we have real human beings that draw the downtowns? Was there AI art used?
Yeah.
What is the concept for, from beginning process, from concept to design to production, understanding more about behind the scenes of how cards are made, not yes, physically printed, but also conceptualized. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Well, yeah, you're going with CEOs, and I'm going. Well, Kern's a big dog in the
Kern is a big dog. Dog. I'm not asking CEO. I'm talking someone that's on LinkedIn.
Okay, now I'm because I'm maybe LeBron James. Then I don't know.
LeBron. If you started a card company from scratch today, what would you focus on to build out your product line? Would it be exclusive players? Would it be card types, chases, styles? What would it be?
I mean, I feel like you can see how it's done. I think Topps is a good example of it with basketball, or even football for the matter. The reason why they did so good without licensing is because they had the guys. They had the people that people want to chase. So I feel like having athletes is a big part of it, like having the right athletes of people like that people want to chase.
Yeah, I agree. There's like Bo Jackson has a new card line, I think, and it's like that's really cool because it's Bo Jackson, but
Hmm.
having the new guys is really important.
Right.
So I think, yeah, similar to you, I would focus on building out some hybrid of an authenticated like mem slash auto version of the case hits. Cause like we
Yeah.
don't have autographed downtowns, but like if you could
Mm,
pull an auto or like one of that, some sort of cross between those really cool, cards that people really that chase with
yeah.
real authenticated memorabilia, that would be super fun.
So that actually just changed with Tops. So the Garbage Pail Kid was an insert that like popped off and did really well. And this year they're doing autograph versions, even to the
Okay.
point where like the player is writing their like goofy name, like parroted Paul, and it's Paul Skeens with the parrot on his shoulder, and even Skeens has to write parroted Paul
That's
as
cool.
he signs it. So it's a neat
That's
addition
super
this
cool.
year.
Yeah. I'm hoping we get some of that when we switch over with football, that we get a, like the Garbage Pail Kids version with football would be
And you guys
insane.
get home field advantages on football cards.
Yeah, they'll be treated the same as like any of the other regular inserts. I feel like,
Oh, get out of
40,
here!
$50, man.
If you know, you
Um,
know. If you're listening to more episodes, you'll catch that
You'll
reference.
get it. You'll get it. So someone said for new collectors, card shops and card shows can be really intimidating. Do you have any advice for newbies there?
Yes, 100%. So it's funny, I like to think I have a big collection. I have some very, very valuable cards. Some of my favorite cards are dollar cards. My favorite thing to do is go to a card show, bring a couple cards with you that you might want to trade, and bring $20, and just take that
Trade
$20.
up challenge. Trade up challenge.
Absolutely not. That is one thing that like I'm not very good with interacting with children who are doing a trade up challenge. Just gonna leave it at that. I think you should take $20 and go to the value bins, go to the dollar boxes. Like, yes, the showcases are shiny and beautiful and all the slabs are wonderful, but you could find some true diamonds in the rough in those dollar boxes. Some people don't know what they have, and if you're an expert in something, you can find things pretty easily.
If you go to shows regularly too, like what I found when I was in Chicago, I went to my first show and I was like, okay, kind of get my feet underneath me. And like I sold some cards, I made some mistakes. But really what I learned was people that are asking you to sell them your cards are usually not going to pay you full cost for them.
Yep.
And so what I learned was I wasn't always comfortable like moving off of a card that I had when I was early collecting unless I had made money on when I had purchased the card. And so I learned really quickly to just say, no, I'm not selling anything, or I'm not showing anything, or you're welcome to take a look, but I know that what I have is in season right now and I'm not taking less than 80 or 90, 95%.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the shows regularly, though, I found two vendors in Chicago. They had their cases, which were always stacked, and you could find some cool stuff in there. And in between these two beautiful cases, they had these big gray, like they weren't the gray BCW like road ones, but they were just like a
Mm-hmm.
cardboard box, two
Yeah.
rows of them. I started flipping through the first time, and I was like, $80 cards, $150 cards, and they were stickered accurately, but there was
Mm-hmm.
stuff that like, okay, none of this is on the table. And then I got to the back, it was like 5 to 15 to $20 cards, and I found a bunch of stuff in there that I was just like, hey, what would you do for all of these? It was like 200 in value. It was like, I mean, make me an offer. I was like 170 for all of these, and I ended up getting a little bit of a deal on them.
Mm-hmm.
But I then went back to that same dealer, and I always was like, I know you got the
Yeah.
value bins, dog. Show me your bins.
Well, that's the thing is like something that people don't take into account. Smaller shows, not so much, like local shows, not so much, but a larger show where people have to travel and they have to bring this stuff and they have to every day either take these boxes back up to their hotel room or lock them up. Like at the end of it, sometimes they don't want to bring all that home.
Yeah.
And so they might be willing to cut you a better deal at the end of the show.
Sunday's the best day to go make bulk buy deals, especially on
Yeah.
wax, because nobody wants
Mhm.
to travel back home with wax.
Yeah.
Why do people always want to? This one made me laugh a
Oh,
little bit
yeah.
because I get it and I get the question, but
Yeah.
maybe we can break it down. Why do people always want to pay less than comps on cards? Doesn't that just drag the value down, or am I not connecting the hidden dots? So I want to go first on this one because I think
Please.
whenever you sell a card on a digital, like we have the ability nowadays to check comps, and like they didn't have that ability, right? In like
Yeah.
the 80s and 90s, other than looking at the Beckett magazines or getting any of those value magazines. So when you check comps and you see that a card went for $150 on eBay, the seller that sold the card is going to probably receive, let's say, 85% of that. So they're going to receive 180 or $30 ish,
Public
$127.
math ish. Yeah.
Yeah, ish. So like that's not the value of the card. That's what the person who sold the card is receiving for the card. And I
Correct.
think when people think about comps and the value of cards, you have to understand that it's really rare for someone to, because there's a middleman in the transaction. In that case, it's eBay or Facebook. It's really rare for you to be able to get max value on a card unless there's been a change in the market that's affected the card. Like unless the card has gone up, and then you can make an exit. I don't think it's wrong to because a card's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it and it's only for sale if you're selling it. I don't think it's wrong to say that you wouldn't accept less than 100% of comps for the card, but also recognize that it may hinder your ability to sell the card. And
Yeah.
that's why people in the industry, they settle at that lower than comp value because it's easier for them to exchange cards and work in some of those margins. And then as a dealer at the show, you paid $300 for the table. You're going to put a small markup over comps. And if you get that in cash at the end of the day on that individual card, maybe you got more than comps on the card, or maybe someone talked you down to 85% of what the sticker was, but it ended up being comps anyways. But it all kind of works out for the dealers, I think, in the position they're in.
Yeah, and on the flip side too, you got to think about like sales tax on eBay and stuff like that, and obviously shipping and everything. So like, even though the card sold for 150, the seller netted less and the buyer paid more. So it's
that card is worth $150 sure in your hand at your house, but in order to get it to someone else and like have that transaction, there has to be a loss of value there. How do you think this was interesting? How do you think fan engagement like live breaks, social media content, community groups has changed the type of collector entering the hobby today compared to 5 or 10 years ago?
Oh, for sure, it's overwhelming. I mean, I this was here 5 years ago. This was for sure here 5 years ago. 10 years ago, it wasn't. I was here 10 years ago, like very, very, very loosely. Yet, like 5 years ago, we saw the pinnacle of breaking because blaster boxes during COVID were flipping on Whatnot for 4x what they're worth. They were like a $25 blaster was selling for $100 on Whatnot, and it was being broken out and being sold every single day. And the thing is, now it's a little bit better. I will say, in terms of
Now the blasters are $50,
right? I mean, like the in your face aspect of it, because
yeah,
like the barrier to entry in this business is so low. You can buy a blaster box at Walmart and go live with your smartphone, and you can sell it. You can. The barrier to entry is incredibly low. Anybody can do it. 5 years ago during COVID, October 2025, or October 2020, they're like, and everybody and their brother was at home. So they're either filming themselves doing this or joining somebody's live doing this. But at least today, I feel like it's less in your face, but there's still I can go on Whatnot right now and just scroll and just scroll and scroll and see how many people are live right now. It's definitely in your face for collecting. So if like, it can be super overwhelming to the new collector today.
I think when I first started collecting and I was buying blasters and stuff, I found breaking and it blew my mind that it had existed and I hadn't known about it as someone who was buying boxes, because it always made sense to me. Like, I'll never be able to buy a hobby box. Like, how do some people ever get these cards? And when I saw it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. But then I had to go find, I went on TikTok, and that was kind of where I got my entrance into everything. And TikTok's made it really easy to find new people in your niche of whatever you're in. So if you're in breaking, you're going to see more breaks and things like that. But yeah, the accessibility factor has changed a lot. I think in general, as money moves, right? And we're seeing Kevin O'Leary do his crazy, what is it? 13, trying to get your light proper.
Yeah. I just super bright in here. Continue. Yes. Kevin O'Leary,
Kevin O'Leary get his $30 or $11 million sale, right? Like, his money moves to stuff. So the investors follow. And that's why, since we've seen the tech innovation on the hobby side continue to grow, that's going to just continue to expand that funnel for new collectors. So it's changed a lot, but it'll continue to get, what we see, what the average collector sees if they follow the top 10 brands is not ever going to be their reality, even though they build their social media feed around big hits, one of ones. Like, we all know you would never be able to have hit that on that break page and that one and that one and that one and that one and that one. And like, have those hits could not all have been yours,
Yeah,
right?
it's all
Those are all
FOMO.
for other people.
Yeah.
So if you recognize that and can get that concept, that's the part of it that yes, people want to show off their cards and show off what they've hit. But I think as people who open hundreds of boxes and you see the hit rates on some of this stuff, like I can tell on probably two hands the number of one-of-ones I've ever pulled in my life. Like, it's for those massive companies that are pulling hundreds of them. Like, you
Yeah.
look at how many customers they have, 60, 80,000 customers. Like, it's spread out more than people they kind of elude on social media.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to kind of give a follow-up question to you. If that's 5-10 years ago, what's 5-10 years from now?
I think the individual, the whatnot route, which is like, hey, I'm an individual who wants to sell something and I need a platform to sell it. The TikTok swiping and the whatnot swiping, that function and feature from a UI perspective, that will be the complete norm for every social media app that we have. I think even
Yeah.
Facebook digitally, like, you still kind of do that same action.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think the future of it is just more people breaking smaller things. I'm curious to see where product goes, because if that goes one way, people will go another. But breaking will
Mhm.
continue to be more and more and more tiny pop-up breakers who are just trying to break a couple, retail boxes because they have the ability to. Like, the fact
Right.
that I was able to get on TikTok and break by myself when I was only because I hit a threshold of followers and like had signed up at the right time. But I mean, now anyone can sign up, like you said, to be a breaker on a website and get to ripping.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there by focusing on retail, because I think, at least in the baseball sphere, how hard it is to get a Topps account right now to where you can get hobby boxes at a whim. It is so hard. And from everything that I'm reading through the tea leaves, if you're on a platform that isn't called Fanatics Live, it's going to be a lot harder.
Yeah.
And so I I wouldn't be shocked if Fanatics Live becomes the only place to get Topps hobby boxes, like, whenever you want. Like, sure, they'll still be elsewhere, but in terms of, like, the availability, it's gonna be there. Like, all the time, it's gonna be there, and it's gonna be a little bit harder to get on, whatnot, Facebook, TikTok.
Just more expensive. People
Yeah,
that have the bigger crowds charge more for the boxes, and people are willing to
yeah.
pay it for some reason. Okay, I like this one. This one's a little bit more, I don't know if say a downer question, but it's a good question. How do you personally keep collecting and stay having fun in the hobby when prices, drama, market trends, and other things can take the joy out of it sometimes?
Yeah, how you keep collecting is just do what you like. Like, it's so easy to get caught up in the wave of, this is the next big guy. This is the next big guy. Oh, next week it's another new guy. Oh, it's a new product. Oh, it's a new like, for me, like, I had somebody reach out to me today and I was so excited, to the point where I stopped my stream because somebody asked me, like, "Hey, I got this card. Do you want it?" I stopped the stream so that I could grab this box. This is still here from my stream, and it was a random Mets image variation. At most they're up to $50, but like, I got a bunch of them. Why? Because it's what I enjoy. It's not like they're $5,000-$10,000 cards. No, these are like, these you would find in those value bins. If you find the things that you enjoy and you just stick to those things, like, you can block the haters, you can block the Debbie Downers. Like, there's going to be people like that everywhere. Unfortunately, especially in an atmosphere like Facebook where everybody has an opinion and they want to say it about everything. If you stick to what you enjoy, man, like, it's still fun.
I think in the same vein of that, the answer to the question earlier, like, for me, what has always kept me in the hobby from a collecting standpoint is going to shows. Like,
Yeah.
if I when I was in Chicago, if I wasn't going to a show and like maybe I was buying stuff on eBay, but it's all just like sitting in my box in my room,
Mhm.
like going to the show, pulling my cards out, showing people, seeing other cards that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
That is what always sort of reinstigates that cycle of like, sell something to buy something, or like
Yeah,
go with
showing off
nothing.
collections.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sharing that with other people or going to a trade night, that's always a really good way. I feel like just I've gone to a lot of trade nights that I don't do anything. I don't even trade anything. I don't buy anything. I don't sell anything, but I meet a bunch of people. I see a bunch of cards, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, build a little checklist for stuff I want to find
Yeah,
later
I
on down the
just
road.
chit chat. Yeah, it's the same thing. But I feel like, the negativity with it. Like I said, it's going to be everywhere. But if you stick to your niche, yeah, I feel like shows are really good. And it's also just camaraderie. I mean, that's what it is. Like, I tell you what, I've got a few group chats with people I chat with every day who I've met through cards. I've never met these people in person, but we talk every single day. We talk every single day. Unfortunately, they are both New York Mets fans for one of them, and it's just one of those things. Like, you build this camaraderie through cardboard, and like, you build relationships, and you can drown out the noise of all the negative Nancy's and just stick with your people too.
And play for longevity, right? Like, I think this is another question that someone had asked, and it kind of ties into this. They said, like, how do you define success in the hobby for yourself? Building a collection, building community, building a business. I think we
I
kind of
just love
answered that
this.
with what you said with building a community and building a collection. But like, success is longevity, right? They're like, it's being able to have something and think about what you are excited about to
Mhm,
collect in 3 or 4 or 5 years down the road. And the people that are not successful in the hobby are the ones that stop collecting or stop caring about what's coming out or what's out in the ether.
mhm.
And the easiest way to stop caring about this stuff is to sell everything you have and not collect anything anymore, right?
Yeah,
And then it's just like,
I'll be honest. I love and hate this question so much because it's such a hard question. I don't know. I don't know what you can ask me. I can answer this one way today and one way tomorrow. Success for me in the hobby is having a card that puts a kid of mine through college. You know, but success is also like meeting lifelong friends. It's also having have a card that looks like a piece of art that I can look at whenever I want. It's so many different things that at the end of the day, I feel like it really doesn't matter because there's this vibe in the hobby of we always have to chase this dragon, and we really don't. You don't have to. You can
hmm.
just, take it easy. You can take breaks. Like, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a hobby. Keep it that way.
There's a guy in the Facebook group. I'm gonna shout him out, Sean Messenger. He has like when the chasing the dragons thing, he has what I would consider hidden dragons. Like he posts his photos in the group every day, and it's literally like some of the most beautiful, clean cards for Trey McBride, Zay Flowers, JSN, like all really top tier NFL players. It's not a lot of quarterback cards, but it's literally like the coolest collection. He's like, here's my
Mhm.
cost if you want to buy something, but being able to build a collection of stuff that you care about is
Yeah.
part of that. What's important to be able to care about your cards. At the end of the day, if you're not collecting, you won't be successful at any of it, right? Like if you're not
Well, I don't even think
participating in the
so.
hobby.
So, yeah, I don't even think so. I think you can be successful in the hobby and not participate. I think you can have a blast in this hobby. If you treat it like an art museum, you just scroll through the groups, you go to shows and just look around and just see cool things. That's what I mean. Success could mean anything for anybody.
That's fair. I get that POV. Someone had said baseball. This is a good one for you. Baseball built this hobby. Baseball built America. Baseball truthers, baseball purists over here. Baseball built this hobby, but it feels like the spotlight's shifting to football and basketball. Do you think the big car companies are forgetting where the hobby started?
Dude, it's not that crazy. It's not. You know why? Do you know why the focus is away from baseball?
Because it's off season.
Because it's October. It's not the off season. We're in
Oh,
playoffs.
oh.
Playoffs.
Oh.
But yeah, the focus is on football and basketball because football season just kicked off. Basketball season's about to kick off or has kicked off. I'm not sure.
It's
I don't
about
follow
to, I think.
basketball. I think it's
It's
about
about
to.
to.
But it's one of those things. It's just like I said, tying back to before, we are chasing that dragon, the next big thing, the next football class, the next basketball class. And guess what? Come March, it's going to be, or come December, actually, when Bowman draft comes out, it's going to be baseball again. And we're chasing the new draft picks. Why? Because that's the cyclical nature of this hobby.
I think the nature of this question is interesting because as someone who primarily collected Panini football stuff
Mm,
and has seen some of the programs that Topps has implemented for the baseball side of things,
mhm.
I'm like, dog, y'all get like so much more than we get from Panini with
Yeah.
regards to marketing, with regards to transparency on some of even
Customer
the checklist
service.
odds and
Mhm.
all of that stuff. It's like I think baseball gets a little bit more love because they're a little bit further grandfathered in. There's not as much
Yeah.
of wild wild west going on with how things are done.
Yeah. Because didn't Panini recently release a product without a checklist?
Yeah, Don Russ. I mean, they do that often. That's a common occurrence.
Yeah,
The
that's insane because
checklist.
I build out like cheat sheets for every single release, like to the point where I'm breaking down like every team's like notable inserts, autographs, top chases, like the percentage, like the ranks
Mm,
of them. I do that for each one before release, and they do that
you couldn't
on
do that
release.
last year. Last year, 2020. For Panini Donruss Optic, I believe what happened was retail hit the shelves early before
Mhm.
Hobby did, and Hobby released, and the checklist was not available, and PSA had to send
Oh
out
yeah,
messages to
yeah.
everybody
They
saying,
wouldn't
"Y'all
grade
stop
stuff.
sending us Donruss stuff." Or it was either Donruss or Donruss Optic. They're like, "Stop sending us.
Yep.
We don't have the checklist. We don't even know what to call this card because Panini hasn't given us anything." As soon as Panini gives it to us, that is so sloppy to me. How do
Yes.
you don't have the checklist, but you made the cards.
And you're selling
So,
boxes for
and you're
500
selling
plus
you've had
dollars.
enough time to put the plastic on the box and the box on the truck, get the truck to the store, like, but you can't tell us what that is. It's either negligence or it's irresponsibility, and neither of them are excusable. I
Yes.
don't think it's intentional. I think it's just, don't attribute to malice what can easily be attributed to stupidity or ignorance. Like, it's the same stitch here with that, but I
Yeah.
don't want to go off too much on a tangent on
No,
Panini.
no,
But
it's
makes me
fine.
mad. The checklist stuff is annoying, right? As a
I
collector,
mean
it's like I'm
that's the
dependent on the checklist
right.
to know what the value of the product could be.
Right. If I'm buying into a break, I want to know how many potential autographs or how many potential inserts I can hit. Like, I don't want to go into it blind. I'm not going to throw my money into the wind. That's just silly. You're
Nope.
asking
There
for
was a guy
failure.
on Twitter who crowdsourced a downtown checklist for the first 2 weeks that it was out because we didn't have anything. And so that was being shared on social media as the checklist was just like, I've seen this. Here's a picture of this downtown. Okay, we'll add it
Weeks,
to the checklist.
weeks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like a week and a half.
Absurd. It's
Crazy.
absurd. No, I mean that like unfortunately this is I think why Panini had such a downward spiral because it's the little things that go such a long way.
It is. I wish I could feel as a collector that I had more power in exerting like my discontent towards Panini over
Mhm.
that type of stuff. Even as a breaker, like ripping the second Don Russ box we had in our case this year, we opened a brand new case, second box, no auto. It's a one auto per box product. It's a
Yeah.
$400 box, no auto.
Yeah.
I can't even do anything about that. It's just like, "Wah, wah."
Yeah,
Like,
well, I'll put it this way. I ripped a case of Topps Finest last week, and we ended up with, I think, 12 autos, and we were guaranteed 16. So that means we were missing 4, and they're 2 autos per box. These boxes are $350, $400 a box, so you're telling me that we lost about $800 in value? So what you can do, at least with Topps, so I mean, you'll experience this in the future with the new license, is you just say, hey, like there's literally a section like, hey, missing hit. All you got to do is say, hey, I missed this hit, provide proof of purchase, send us the box, the wrappers, and everything. We'll take care of it.
wow.
So,
Okay, that's good to know because I also Jason, he's not going to watch this, but I also asked
no.
Jason a while ago. We had a Topps Chrome boxer, and it was missing like both the autos or one of the autos.
Yeah,
And I was like,
that's what
"Can
you
I
got
do
to
anything
do.
about this?" And he was like,
Yeah.
"Nah, don't worry about it. It's not worth your time." I was like, "Could have been."
No, you totally can. Yeah, that
Okay,
goes up for anybody listening. If you're ever opening a box and you're guaranteed, let's just say one autograph and you don't get it, save those packs. You don't have to send the cards in, just the packs, the empty packs, the
the
cellophane
cards you
wrapper in
didn't
the
get.
box, and you can submit that to Tops. It's in one of their customer support sections, but it's like a missing hit slash replacement damage, and you just like I said, you provide a receipt and then you ship it to them, and then they'll ship you either a care package or a couple autos your way.
The more you know. We'll take
Mhm.
that. We'll take that. I went to Panini at the National 2 years ago because my customers had hit a purple Bijan Robinson rookie out of an Illusions box. And after we had ripped our case, it was pretty apparent based on other forums online that they had messed a lot of stuff up with the numbering. So we pulled the one of one that other people had also pulled the same one of
Uh,
one. It wasn't serialized, but it was the only colored parallel listed that should have been
mm,
serialized. And I went to the Panini booth, talked to the head of, I like kind of asked around and like was really nice about it and stuff and talked to them for a few minutes. He gave me his email. But he was like, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I was like, I've seen this. I Googled this and like, it's everywhere right now. People are talking about how the print run got messed up. And he was like,
mhm.
really? That's crazy. I haven't seen or heard anything. I'm like, dog, what?
Do
Like,
you have the internet?
do you not like? I don't. That's to my point earlier. I don't think they think about it like they have a responsibility to do certain things for the customer, and that's what bothers me about Panini.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Okay, this is let's see. In a standard product, you've got autos, relics, numbered cards, inserts, and base with some other fun stuff. Autos in case sets are king. For this is a long one. Hold on, but what would you change, add, or remove for the rest? Relic numbered inserts to make them more sought after. I mean, first of all, game used, game worn, player worn is necessary for anyone to give a crap about a patch that's not a gorgeous colored patch.
Correct. I think, and I wanted to jump exactly on that because I was about to go down the same rabbit hole. I get it. You know, there's an exception here. I understand that football players play less than 20 games a year. However, baseball players play 162 plus games a year. Why do we need single color napkin patches when we have 162 jerseys you can pick from? I don't care if you just give me like I would rather have this, a tiny pinstripe, this little blue pinstripe, over just a white napkin. You know, like every day of the week, 100% of the time, game used, and give me two colors, a minimum of two colors.
You would raise the value of if you treated memorabilia like they treated autographs, right? You're a player, you sign up, here's 500 autos. That jersey that player wears can be split up into more than 5, X number of patches, but that should be and it is for some, in the Topps world, it is for some of those players are wearing player worn memorabilia, player authenticated memorabilia.
I don't think I very rarely ever this is game used and this is just a random insert. Like, I mean, very rarely do I ever see player worn.
That in baseball, that's because they play so many games. I think. Yeah. The way around that would be practice jerseys or any sort of other ornamental style thing that they wear, garb, would be cool. We have Christmas sweaters in a Don Ross holiday product, but they're not worn by the player. It's just a Christmas sweater that's the color of the thing.
Yeah. Well, here let's actually go back just a little bit, just in case. I'm not trying to dumb it down too far, but explain the differences between player worn, player used, game used, the different things, because wording matters on patches.
It does, and it changed for us. It changed in 2021 when they changed the wording on the cards to accommodate their lack of ability to provide a player worn item. So player worn means that this item was at one point adorned on the body of the player, whether it be direct contact or like that famous
the famous photo of 50 jerseys on
Frank
one
Gore
dude.
or someone wearing 50 jerseys, right? Player used memorabilia is a little bit more ambiguous. That it would have been for a football piece or a cleat. It could have been practice. If it doesn't say, it's kind of a tier system, right? Like if it doesn't say the next one up, it's probably not that, because they would certify it with that. And that's with player worn, player used, game worn, game used.
Yeah.
I don't see as much delineation because the only player worn, game worn stuff that we've seen is out of Topps football, in the past 4 years since 2021. Even in Panini, I just ripped a bunch of Immaculate. They're not. It's just a napkin patch. That's $1,000 box.
Yeah, that is insane. That $1,000 and you're getting not from any specific game event or anything. The one thing that I will
no, it's not even player worn. It's not even.
What?
No, none of this stuff is. No, none of the patches and any of the Panini products. It doesn't even matter if you go up the tier on the hobby list. You get to National Treasures, Flawless. None of it. There might be a few on the checklist that are randomly plopped in there, but I mean, dude, I pulled a gorgeous JJ McCarthy RPA, and you look on the back and it says this memorabilia is not from any specific game or event. It does not say anywhere on the card that the material in the card is player worn. It would tell you that it was if it was.
Yeah, if they could say
we've ripped a few, not of the Immaculate, but we ripped a few Don Russ optic patches last year. And on the back of the patch, there's a text, and you can see from the sheets who it would have been assigned to if they were on it.
Because this was when people were cutting them out, right?
Yep, people were cutting them out. I cut them out, and it just on the back of most of mine, it would say a color. And so then you're just taking big blank sheets of blue, and they're like, put it on a Seahawks, put it on a Panthers, put it on all the blue gets shared amongst all of the colors. It's gross.
Yeah, and I will say this: there is something that Topps does that I absolutely appreciate. It gives a little bit more life to patches. I don't know if you've ever seen their authentication stickers, but they will put an authentication sticker on the patch. You type in the QR code; it'll tell you exactly what game it's from, the whole nine. Now it's relatively rare. It's typically on like bigger boxes, more expensive boxes.
Stuff tied to a date or a game that was really
Yeah.
significant. Yeah.
Well, not even significant, just a random game, but
Just a random one.
It'll still certify it.
Do you think your bat knob would have that on it?
Probably not.
No,
probably not. I wouldn't think, because I think they would want to keep it
player used.
No, it's that. Oh, that's a great question. If that thing comes back, like,
you have any other bat knob?
No, those are
they're
big,
super rare.
Yeah, those are big dog items. But yeah,
tonight I pulled out of 25.
Gosh, I'm worried. Now I'm really worried, dude. Did I just buy a one-on-one
tonight I
bat
pulled
knob?
For the Giants? I pulled a Malik Neighbors out of 199 patch out of the new product black, and it's a blue and white patch, 2-color patch. We're like, oh, we pull a Jackson Dart to 25. Same exact patch.
Same exact patch.
Out of 299 and out of 25.
Like, that's a good patch.
That's a gorgeous patch.
But to be fair, this is also I'm asking 2K on it. So if anybody watching wants a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Dynasty RPA to 5, hit me up. But no, I mean, like, that's the kind of patch I want. Any patch, give me 2 colors at a minimum.
Yeah, give me logos too. Like, I had a Ravens RAVE, and I thought that was so cool. And even because that's the only value indicator right now in football, at least, the only value that is inherent to any sort of memorabilia card is usually the serialization plus the patch like quality and aesthetic. If it's a out of 10 and it's got a napkin patch,
it's not.
Sorry,
it might as well be numbered to 500.
Yep. But if it's an out of 299 and it's got like half the Rams logo in it,
4 colors,
people are all over that stuff. Yep.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
All right. Well, we went through, I think, most of the questions that we had. We've been on for 36 minutes. I think we should probably wrap this up. What do you think? You got any other closing points you want to call out?
I don't think anything too crazy. I mean, I've been doing something out of the norm. I've been ripping a lot of cases lately. I'm not typically a case breaker, and I never intentionally wanted to become a big time case breaker, mumbo jumbo breaker. Because I mean, I work a day job. I work 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Come home, it's fun to rip open a hobby box and a couple blasters. But I mean, dude, I'll say this. It's so fun ripping open a case and hitting
the best way,
guaranteed every break.
Purest way to enjoy the product, right? Like,
oh my goodness,
you get it all. You get the full scope usually of like left, right, and center on everything. Yeah, cases are the way to go. Now they're tougher on us, like when we have to rip a lot more product. If it's like Don Russ has 180 cards per box, like we're chunking out most of the cardboard. But
I gave the trays to my wife to help me sort, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, these are so heavy." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a case." So, but no,
I'm a case breaker.
Yeah, dude, ripping a case, it's so fun. I will say this: I am ticked off because on Monday I ripped a case of a new release. So we talked about it a couple episodes ago, but 2025 Bowman Chrome hit the chase player. I think you saw this picture. We hit the chase player. Dude, when I tell you the centering was the worst centered card I have ever seen, there was literally no right border. It was so offset.
Like we sit here, we're griping about Panini this, Panini that, and people are like, it's gonna be so much better when we get to Topps. I'm like, they all use the same printers. Dog.
Yeah, they use very similar printers. But I will say this: every other autograph was at least like 60-40 centered. Okay. This one, of course, of the chase player is the worst one. I'm like, are you kidding?
Could you send that in? Could you send that in to them?
Yeah, and so that's what I'm going to do. I literally have the box right over here. I have a box. I have some wrappers. So here's the breakdown. So we talked about missing hits. With Topps, if you have a damaged card, now this is where it's up to interpretation. If they think it will grade less than an 8 from a product released that year, you can submit the same thing: proof of purchase, a box, wrappers,
PSA,
just from a major grading company. If the condition is less,
I was like, I'll grade, dude. I'll give it a 7.
If the condition is less than near mint, they will replace the card or send something of what they deem equivalent value. So at least there's that. So. The gentleman who hit it,
right?
No. It's not a 1-of-1. It's a base autograph, but still, like, it's still got some good value to it.
Yeah,
a few $100s at least. And it's like, hey, Like the guy who hit
It's
it.
the
I'm
kind
like,
of card
"Hey,
when you try to when anybody tries to sell it, they're going to be like,
yeah, it's so hard. Yeah, it would be
"Ooh,
so hard to
that's,
sell it." They're like, "Oh, I'll offer you 50% because it's off
yeah,
center,"
I'm not
and you
even
just
going to
get
give you full
constant
value."
low balls. Yeah, it's not worth it. But so I guess in summation, Topps will take care of your people. Panini hopefully will figure out what they're doing when they don't have the license and they got more time on their hands. But yeah, I mean,
We'll
hey,
see.
yeah, if you got stuff, send it in. If you think it's bad, hopefully Topps takes care of you.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll be back next week. We drop the questionnaire form, or I guess the posts with the area you guys can comment your questions for the episodes. We had a lot of feedback on this one, which is why we pretty much dedicated the whole show to answering some of these questions. But I know we'll be looking to have some guests on in the future. Trent's going to be guest starring on another podcast here in the next few days. Keep an eye out for that. We'll
I'll blast it out everywhere. So, well, here I guess I can let the cat out of the bag.
Softy still it's done. Softy still it's done.
Yeah, so I was invited to a major podcast, and so shout out to Clever Cuban Cards. Hoping to film that early next week, and if all goes well, hopefully I'll be sending out links to everybody. So keep an eye out.
Boom. All right, guys, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to the Hobby Hangar. Bye.
See you.
See you.
Drake breaks football like a runaway train. AJ Brown autos falling like